Hi, my name is Allison Onsmeyer. This is my EDL 850 School Law presentation all about tort law. Tort law is when individuals are liable for consequences of their own conduct or lack of conduct in which injuries are sustained from actions. This is the most common law in a school setting in which teachers are held liable for, especially personal liability. There are two common types of tort in education. The first one being intentional tort, which is the intent to cause harm to another. This is usually in the form of assault, battery, false imprisonment, or defamation. We also have negligent tort, which is failure to act in reason to a person whom duty is owed to. This is referred to as duty to protect, breach of duty, proximate cause, and injury. Getting into some law cases that have to do with the tort law. The first one being Mitchell versus the Cedar Rapids Community School District. This case happened when a mother of a special education student sued the school district for damages the child obtained in an after-hours off-campus sexual assault by another student. This other student was also special education, and they did attend the same school. The teacher had kind of gone over their actions toward each other that they had seen. But what happened is that the girl ended up leaving the school early and missed her last class, and the school never did end up reporting that to the mom. The jury found the school district negligent in failing to uphold supervision of the special education student in providing that information to the mother right away when it happened. Some of the reactive measures that I would have is just to go back through all of the IEPs of our special education student and make sure that there's supervision there. Maybe if that's with paras or the actual special education student doing some push-in work, but also to hold a staff meeting to look at this and making sure that we are documenting and communicating throughout the day that when these kiddos are absent from classes that needs to get reported, especially special education students or any student that maybe has some behavior that is not necessarily normal, but we need to be able to find those students, especially if their parents are unaware of their beings. Some proactive measures that I would put into place is to look into a notification system for absences. I know that when I was in high school, we did have an absence system that would call our parents if we ended up being absent from the class. So we need to make sure that we know the difference between being tardy in a class and being absent, but also just making sure that parents are communicated with right when something happens versus hearing about it and then something ends up happening to that student and the parents weren't even aware that they weren't at school. The next case is the Barnett versus Caldwell. This is about a Georgia teacher who left a classroom and asked another teacher to listen for her class. She did not let the hall monitor know in order for them to watch her class. And while she was out using the restroom, two of her students got into an altercation, which ended in one student passing away later in the day at the hospital because of a cut he received on his neck. The parents of the student sued the teacher for negligence, but the court ruled in the favor of the teacher. The court said that she was granted discretionary immunity for her choice of getting a teacher to watch her classroom and having the right to use the restroom. Some of the reactive measures that I would have, because this I feel like is very touchy and it could have gone either way as far as the court ruling with the parent or the court ruling in the teacher's favor. Just talking with the teacher, collecting information, going over policies and procedures on leaving the students, especially if there's a hall monitor in place, that she really should try to wait until that hall monitor is there so that there can actually be a teacher stepping inside of that classroom versus just listening. Some proactive measures that I would have would be to put even more safeguards for teachers leaving their students in place, and definitely using this as a learning experience. Yes, restroom breaks, teachers need those, and sometimes they're far and few between, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we are providing appropriate supervision to our students so that accidents like this doesn't happen in the future. The next case that I would like to bring attention to is the Johnson Johnson versus the School District of Millard. This case is dealing with a first grade student who sustained injuries from a music class accident. They were playing London Bridge when the accident happened. The music teacher was in the classroom at the time of the accident, but was at the blackboard writing something down. The parents filed a case against the school district claiming negligence of supervision on their son's behalf. The court ruled with the parents claiming that there was negligence of supervision, especially since they were first graders. Some reactive measures that I would have would be to be conducting observations in the classroom to see if that teacher is getting those students started on activities and then finding, herself doing other things when she probably needs to be more active throughout the whole class period. Just gathering evidence from other students and if there were any other paras in the classroom. And immediately have the music teacher stop the London Bridge activity just so that we could talk about it and see if there's something that we need to do in order to make it more safe. Some proactive measures that I would have is to go over the necessary supervision based upon age, and this would be for all teachers. We know that the younger students, especially first graders, kindergartners, they need more supervision than those older students. So just going over what appropriate supervision looks like, especially when we're doing a physical activity. And also just setting expectations of being involved with the students and not, going and doing something that you may not have full supervision over or control over those students when you're doing that other task. The next case that I would like to bring attention to is the Buzzard versus Eastlake School District. This is also about a first grader who got a broken leg from a playground incident. The accident happened when another student rode his bicycle through a game at recess and ran over the injured child. The parents filed suit to prove that there was negligence on the teacher's part for not stopping the child riding the bicycle. The court did rule in favor of the child, and the child received a judgment for damages of a broken leg. Some of the reactive measures that I would have here is where was the teacher at in proximity to the students? And if she knew that this had been happening in previous, like it was stated in the court case, why wasn't there a stop put to it beforehand? Maybe asking myself and the teacher, do we need another teacher out there to provide playground support? If we're going to have bicycle activities and games and lots of students being involved, that's great, but we also need to make sure that we're providing the necessary supervision to keep those students safe. Some proactive measures that I would have is setting areas of the bicycles to only be rode in versus them just kind of having freedom of wherever they want to. And also going over expectations with staff about supervision during recess, and also doing that with students to make sure that they're being considerate of their friends playing someplace else and then the activity that they're choosing to do as well. The next case that I would like to bring attention to is the Collins versus the Bossier Parish School Board. This is about a kindergarten boy who fell during recess off of the monkey bars. This happened because another boy wrapped his legs around the student, making them both fall. The boy ended up with a broken femur. The teacher on duty is assigned to around 100 students to supervise on a very large playground. It was stated that the teacher did not see the accident when it happened, but went over right away when the accident was reported. The teacher told the court that she would have talked with the student who wrapped his legs around the other student if she would have seen the accident occur, but she was working with another group of students at the time. The court ordered that there was negligence in providing appropriate supervision. Some of the reactive measures that I would see would be, where was the teacher at when this happened? Was she in the most opportune space to be able to have eyes on all those kids, especially since it's a large playground and a large number of students for one teacher to watch? Why were the children not following the rules? Do we need to go over playground safety rules again? It sounds like they were gone over with the PE teacher, but just making sure that we're being consistent and reprimanding those children when they need to be, to make sure that we're providing a safe playground for all students to be able to play in. Some proactive measures that I would have is it is stating that it's a very large playground, and with that many students, um, it looks like we need more than just one teacher to help supervise. Playgrounds should be revisited frequently, especially with the younger children. They're forgetful, teachers are forgetful, but at the same time, we need to, if we're going to set those expectations, then they need to be reviewed and consistently put forth so that we can help educate those children on safe behaviors, especially out on the playground. Some professional ethics as far as like hoping to minimize tort in a school is administrators and teachers should exhibit professional ethics at all times. It is important to do the right thing and act in a manner to keep everyone safe, whether that is what you say that could potentially hurt somebody, both physically and emotionally. We need to make sure that we're holding true to ethics and putting those students first. Good common sense and speaking up if more help is needed will allow everyone to work in an environment full of quality professionalism. If a teacher or administrator does not feel like they can cover and supervise or handle what is given to them, then we have to speak up because it is up to us to act in a professional manner and provide that supervision and conduct that those children deserve. Providing that administrators and teachers uphold high quality professional ethics will help to eliminate the tort claims, especially as everyone is doing what they are expected to be doing. Just acting with, good common sense and overall good judgment will help and act with those professional ethics that all teachers and administrators have, or they wouldn't be in the job.